Here is an excerpt from my novella, A Christian's Guide to Blackmail. Friday, July 16th, 2021, 11:05 p.m. Father Archibald Cox said, "God never closes a door without opening a window." Eli used to refer to Cox's favorite maxim often, until he got blackmailed. Elijah Aeneas Maddox was a conservative radio host at KDVE, The Hawk, 187.7, as well as a mostly compliant Christian. He went to church 4 out of 5 Sundays a month, always making sure to bring his family along. There were 4 boys: Zebedee, age 1.5, Gershon, age 4, Barnabas, age 6, Levi, age 8, Faith. Also, they had 3 girls, 3 girls. Barnabas' twin, Bernice, age 6, Faith, age 10, Karen Ann, age 13, and his wife, Chastity, age 43. They came to church even when they were sick or otherwise indisposed. Footnote 1. Being that the Maddoxes didn't think science was a real thing, they did not take many precautions and were prominent disease vectors amongst the 100-plus person congregation. Sometimes it's good to keep the faith. Other times it's probably better to stay home. But who am I to judge? I'm a Jewish narrator, but don't tell them that, please. He was blonde and balding with a slight comb over. At 5 foot 4 inches and 210 pounds, he had not seen his stunted, crooked dick without a mirror in several years. Fun fact, Eli's previous wife, Trudy, nicknamed his penis the Goblin due to its purported similarity in size and shape to a goblin shark. They were divorced soon after. Yet even with the power of the holiest God supposedly on his side, Eli's current marriage was on the rocks. His Christian sex life was horrible. They only participated in the missionary position, and having such a godly woman had its costs because she was frigid, North Pole levels. What would one expect with a name like Chastity? Sexual frustration. And that was what led Eli to exploring other avenues. First, it started with isolated incidents of solo masturbation. Then came pornography. Soft at first, then hard as fuck. OnlyFans cam girls, tip them and they will tip you with their vaginas. Peep shows, and last but not least, instructed by one of the cam girls, Eli began a journey into the dark web. But what didn't help was that Chastity was not only nosy, but jealous to boot. Chastity, nee Wangsness, was an attractive woman. She had to be, otherwise Eli would not have given her the time of day 15 years ago when they met, back in 2006. She had a back-breaking triple-letter bra size. Her visage was resplendent in her Nordic facial type, like she was one of the Valkyries ready to ride and die at a moment's notice. One would expect her to be quite tall, towering even, based upon the look of her face and neck. It was elegant, but also giraffe-like. Adorned in an ever-present beautiful 14-karat gold crucifix, inlaid with mother of pearl, a bequeathal from her great-grandmama, Bjorg Wangsness, nee Bjornstad. Wandering eyes invited a wandering back into the face. Which is why Eli had to be quite careful in his sexual explorations. It wasn't like he could just talk to his wife. Maybe figure out something new to spice things up. Yeah, right, Eli thought. Woman won't do a damn thing unless it's recommended in the Bible. Which meant that any time they had sex, it was to be in the furtherance of procreation. And while engaging in said act, Chastity made it very clear that she did not enjoy a moment of it. She had a passage for just about everything. After a long day of volunteering for the church, Eli and Chastity put the kids to bed and retired to the master bedroom. They both plopped down in bed. The room was bare except for the occasional framed print of white Jesus staring off into space, and crucifix Jesus glaring down upon them, covered in blood and filth. Eggshell white walls, hardwood flooring that made every step and fart echo tremendously. All the way to their youngest son Gershon's bedroom on the second floor. Big dusty curtains that were rarely, if ever, drawn back, covered in Judeo-Christian bric-a-brac. Tiny palm crosses, buttons with shy lambs traipsing through the meadows, plastic doves with poorly painted black eyeballs pointing in different directions. There was a vintage 19-inch Sony Trinitron as the centerpiece of the room, sitting atop a barren dresser. Chastity used to have a rule: no TV in bed. Over time, Eli softened her position to the point where not only was the TV allowed in the bedroom, but now Chastity could not fall asleep without its soothing, static-laden presence. She watched pre-recorded episodes of the 700 Club, public access ministers, assorted old-time religion evangelists, and of course a wide variety of Pure Flix movies. After 15 minutes of watching Pat Robertson preaching to the choir about how the Democrats are killing America, Eli got a little preoccupied staring at his wife's gigantic breasts as she flipped through a dog-eared Bible. Each one of the twins was bigger than her head, and they were both varied in size. Righty was the dominant one, but Lefty wasn't a slouch either. Watching her chest rise up and down as she reached a particularly juicy moment in Leviticus caused Eli to form a small but sturdy erection from beneath the confines of his pajama bottoms. He reached over and groped his wife. She edged away from him and let go with a humph. "Oh, come on, my love," said Eli. "Let's have a little marital congress." No. Yeah. Chastity narrowed her eyes at Eli from behind her half-frame reading glasses. She said, "Do not forget 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 3 to 5. For this is the will of God, your sanctification, that you abstain from sexual immorality, that each one of you know how to control his own body in holiness and honor, not in the passion of lust, like the Gentiles who do not know God." "Oh, yes," said Eli. "Of course." Chastity followed that up with Colossians 3:5. "Put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you: sexual immorality, impurity, passion, evil desire, and covetousness, which is idolatry." "Oh, can't forget about that one, honey," Eli said. "But there is the little matter of Genesis 9:1. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth." "That was because the world had been stripped of animals and man. They had little choice but to engage in fornication." "You got me there," said Eli. He sighed and rolled over away from his wife onto his side. His cock was still hard, and there wasn't much he could do about it except the little woman did not take kindly to masturbatory release. He waited until he heard the telltale sign of sleep. Chastity's roaring snores, her gas, her sleep mumbling as if she were with the church ladies spreading gossip. Oftentimes that very gossip was critical of her own family. She sounded akin to a sleeping Fomorian giant of legend. "Your laziness will be the damnation of you," she muttered. Eli, you are a bad man, a sinner, a sinner." Eli looked left, then right, as if looking out for a third-party voyeur spying on them, or a camera installed in white Jesus' hopeful eyeballs. Dick still hard, with great care, he rolled out of bed, his feet gingerly accepting the creaky floorboards as they protested his weight. "Just go with it," thought Eli.